Pranam. In this second video series, we'll be trying to discuss about the first pillar of creating wealth. But before we go ahead, let me remind you, what do I mean by wealth when I say wealth over here in this series of videos? In the last, it is the first video of the series, I had said that anything to be known as wealth should be able to satisfy three conditions. Condition number one, it should be transferable, it should be scarce, and above all, it should have a utility. That means it should be able to satisfy a want of a human. I had also said that that thing can be harmful, still it can be well. So there is no bifurcation whether only good, useful things are only wealth. Anything which has these three qualities could be known as wealth. So let us go ahead and understand this pillar number one, which I call as creating wealth. Now, before we go ahead, I would like to share a small Sanskrit Shubhashit so as to make you understand that what has been the perspective of ancient Indian wisdom on wealth. So let us understand this. This is Shubhashit which reads like this. Do amavasi niveshtavayo gale baddhavadudama shilama dhanmantam adataram daridram cha apati pasinamam. That means there are two types of people who should be pushed in deep waters with heavy stones tied to their body. One who does not donate in spite of being rich, and the other who does not work in spite of being poor. So over here, the perspective is very clear. It has been said what should a person do when he is rich and what should a person do when he is poor. And both the context is wealth. So what should a person do with his wealth when he is rich, and what should a person do when he's not rich for wealth? Let's go ahead with this. I'll take this. So over here, as I told you last time, again I'm repeating, there are three pillars of wealth management as I see it. First is creating wealth, second is enhancing wealth, and third is safeguarding wealth. In this video, we are trying to understand this first pillar, that is creating wealth. So let me share with you a different screen so as to understand this. Okay. So over here, as I said, it is the first pillar of wealth management. So I say it this way. First over here, we are going to create wealth. Okay. By doing active business. So what does a person do over here? Probably he will start with a target customer, segment. Then he might find out a product or a service that he wants to sell to these customers. Then he might try to find out the price at which these customers will buy these products and services. Fourth, he will set up a manufacturing plant or distribution, or he'll set up supply chain. In short, he'll have full operations so as to manufacture and get these products delivered to the customer at a specified price. Then as he goes ahead, he might have to have competitive strategies so as to fight the rivals. So he'll do everything that would be required to create wealth. So he'll be active in business. Now over here, I always say that almost 95% of the time of the owners of business goes over here in creating wealth, and probably it might be correct. So over here, this is the first thing that a person does in the first pillar, is creating wealth. That is, he starts doing business, he starts serving the customer. He has a price which the customer deems as value. He provides it, no doubt. He does branding so that he can improve the pricing. He does strategizing. He does so many things. However, this is the first pillar that any businessman would like to do. That is, they'll be creating wealth by having active business. And after this, they will have one thing, that they also want to have passive cash flows. Even passive cash flows can create wealth. So let us understand, what do I mean by passive cash flows? So when I say over here passive cash flows, what do I mean? There's a very good book written by Robert Kiyosaki, that is The Rich Dad and the Poor Dad, which says that rich passive cash flows can be like rent that you get from the real estate. It can be dividends that you get from the shares that you hold. It can be interest on the FDs. So all such things that you get from your investments are passive cash flows. However, even though I don't deny him, however, I would like to add something to what he says. I feel that in a family business, even a business can itself be a passive cash flow generating entity. What do you mean by it? For example, assume that we or a business family has a bottling plant, okay, wherein it has to just invest in machinery and plant and probably land and building. Okay, by having these two things, what he can do is that he has signed a contract with the bottled manufacturer, the bottled water brand, wherein they have given him something on conversion basis. That is a fully automated plant which requires a minimum amount of labor. Okay. Now what he has done, that when you have a conversion contract, there are two features which I say it has to be conversion contract. First, there is no issue of sales. That means I don't have to do active marketing, so I'm spared of marketing. Secondly, I did not invest in the working capital. Probably even if I invest, I'll have to invest only in debtors. That is the person from whom I am doing this thing. However, the raw material, that is the RM, the PM, is all given to me by the person who has licensed this or who has given me this for conversion basis. So even having such businesses could be known as having passive cash flows. So mind it, you keep on creating wealth by doing active business. However, you should also have certain businesses which might give you passive cash flows. So in a business, I feel that if there is no issue of sales, that means sales are guaranteed to you. And if the amount is not getting blocked in working capital, then probably it is a passive cash flow, because the most of the major investments goes in capital, that is, say in fixed assets. So any such business over there, I feel that it will be a passive cash generating business. And almost this has been a part, of so many family business or families in the olden era. Many of them, they were doing what? They were having mines, wherein they just used to dig the sand has to be sold without, adding any, anything to it. There was no value added to it. But nowadays people are adding value to even mining so as to make more money. The last part is unlocking value. Okay. So when I say unlocking value, what do I mean by this? So we might have first generation entrepreneur, he might start the business. He might be doing this business for 35 years. Somewhere in between, the second generation will come. Okay. They might do it for another 35 years. Somewhere in between, the third generation will come. So over here, probably, after 50 years somewhere from the things when it started, the family, by working very hard, by putting everything that they were having, they might have created huge amount of value in business. Now, the time is apt for unlocking value. What do I mean by unlocking value? By unlocking value, I want to say that it is a time up to sell stake of your business. It can be 20%, it can be 25%, it can be 60%, whatever it is. Now, why do I say we need to unlock value? Now, when I say we need to unlock value, understand that even if I assume, we have a business, okay, wherein it's a manufacturing firm and you are having say 100 CR turnover. Okay, out of this 100 CR turnover, the net profit margin max to max, which I think probably including both types of cash flows, can be say, I don't know, I'm really very optimistic. I say it can be 10 crore rupees. However, is this 10 crore available for the owners to use? 100% no. Out of this 10 crores, probably 7.5 to 8 crores will be there in your stock and datas. 100% 7 to 8 crore rupees will be lying in your stock and datas. That means disposable amount that you can have would be 2 crore rupees. And if in this 2 crore rupees, you have 10 people of the family, that means only 20 lakhs of disposable income for each. Now, is this fair? After working for 50 long years, putting so much efforts, getting only 20 lakh rupees in hand as a disposable, is it fair? I don't think it's fair. So what we need to do over here? We need to do over here is that if I say that I am earning 2 crore rupees in cash or say 10 crore rupees, okay. And if I say I want to unlock value, I want to sell my stake. There are many ways. There's private equity. You can have a financial investor. You can have a strategic investor. You can go for SME IPO, which I normally never suggest, or you can go for main board IPOs. Okay. So let us not go in depth of IPOs. Let us first come back to the first stage of evolution in financial cycle. Let us say we go for private equity funding. Now there are two options over here that we have. One is financial investor. One is a strategic investor. Now financial investor is like a parasite. That means he'll say, what boss, I am giving you money, XYZ, you give me returns, you give me exit point, I want to get out. I'm not interested in your business. I just want my returns in hand. So most of my clients are not looking for financial investors. What they're looking for strategic investors. That means a person who wants to run my business, who wants to take my business to a new orbit. Okay. So probably assume that you right now are not in needs of funds. You have the funds that you want, but now you are searching for a strategic investor. Now, assume that you are in the food industry. Okay, I'm just giving an example over here. You have a 10 crore turnover. Now, in a 10 crore turnover, your EBITDA margins are say 10%, or probably say, over there, in example, I told you net profit margins are 10%, but over here, I'm telling you that your EBITDA margins are somewhere 10 to 15%. I'll say pick up 12%. That means 12 crore rupees is your EBITDA. Okay. Now, mostly in such businesses, the valuations are given as around 15 to 20 times of EBITDA. So if I say 20 times of EBITDA, the maximum that, and I am the best over here, it will be how much? It will be 240 CR. Now, definitely any strategic investor who comes will never like to take a stake of less than 60% probability. So what happens over here? If I sell the stake of 60% over here, that comes to how much? 240 into 60%. We say over here. Okay. So I get 144 crore rupees over here. Okay. Probably 144 crores. So approximately if I'm getting 144 crores, will they give me this amount on the spot? Yes or no? Probably no. What happens over here is that it's both in the interest of the investor and the stake offloading company to stay together for at least 3 to 5 years. For the investor, it is important because they need to understand that how the business runs. They would require the help of the actual owners who are there in business so as to run the business further. They can have so many ghosts. कितने सारे भूत हो सकते हैं जो cupboard से निकलेंगे. There can be so many issues that you don't want to, you want that the old parties should also have the skin in that case. So over here, if I say that 144 rupees, understand this amount is you are not going to get in your hand over here. They're not going to pay you 144 rupees on the spot. So what's bound to happen over here? Let us see this way. Now what they're going to do is that they will make it over a period of time, over a period of time they'll say year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. They'll say that in the year 1, the multiple is ready. What is the multiple that they are going to offer you? Probably EBITDA into say 20 times. Okay. So over here, we are saying that my EBITDA is say, I simplify it, I take it 110 crore rupees. So my valuations come over here is say 200 crore rupees. Okay. And when I say 60, and I am saying that we are going to sell 50% stake, it comes to 100 crore rupees. Or say if I say 60%, then it will come to 120 crore rupees. So this is what I'm going to get, but I'm not going to get 120 crore rupees over here, because what I'm saying is that in the first year, I'm going to sell or I'm going to buy a majority, say, and I'm going to buy, he'll say, they're going to buy, say, 40%. Then in the second year, they will buy nothing. In the third year, they'll buy 10%. In the fourth year, they'll again buy 10%. In all, over the next 4 years, they'll make it 60%. So what will happen over here is that in the first year, the amount that I'll be getting is what? It will be 40% of 200 crores, that comes to 80 crore rupees. In the second year, I'll get nil. Assume that in the third year, since the person was a strategic investor, he was able to get more sales and more EBITDA, and now he's managing the business with you. He got a 15 crore EBITDA. So again, this 15 crore EBITDA multiplied by 20 will make the valuation to come to 300 crores. And out of this 300 crores, I'll be paid 30 crore rupees. As we go next, we have one more year has passed, and assume that now the EBITDA is say 20 crore rupees. So now my valuation goes to 400 crore rupees. What I was supposed to get is 10%, so I'm getting 40 crore rupees more. So in total, what I'm getting is 120 plus 130, I'm getting 150 crore rupees instead of this in valuation the first year of 120 crore rupees. Why? Because we stayed together for some period of time. So this is what I mean by unlocking value. I always feel that every small business or every family business should be doing this 3 things in the first pillar. But what I have seen is that the whole focus is only on the first thing. What is the main thing, without which nothing can happen. However, as you grow older and older in the business, as you have more managing hands with you, you need to have advisors, you need to have your own family members who are trained to get the second 2 pillars also for you, because they are very, very important, and except that it's very difficult to run the show. So let us understand. So this is what I mean by the first pillar of wealth management. And this is the last thing that I wanted to talk about, the first pillar of creating wealth. From the next video onwards, we'll try to understand what do you mean by enhancing wealth. Now, enhancing wealth might itself have some more videos in itself, because we are going to understand a bit of technical part also of wealth management or investment management for that sake. Dhanyavad. Thank you from my side. Thank you so much.